whether this was bundled or was this as efficient as it could have been? Was this always going to be this way? There's so many different angles to look at it. Something that I do want to talk about is how we're all kind of quick to point fingers, and the right does it more than the left does. And but I saw a lot of that on the left, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but some of it was just we feel the fingers pointing at Biden, and we got defensive and started saying, "Well, Trump pulled this person out. Trump had the Taliban. He wanted them at Camp David. He wanted to get them out in May. It would have been even more of a disaster." So I think something that we should do is this is a nuanced conversation. There's going to be a lot of time to dissect how this happened. It's still ongoing, right? It's not like this is going to be a little bit of a time here. But something I do want to point out is I thought a lot about the Afghan people this week. Just we've been there for 20 years, right? September 11th to us seems like yesterday in a lot of different ways, but the 20th anniversary is coming up. We've been there for 20 years. To mixed feelings, right? I'm sure there's people there who want us, and then there's people there who prefer the Taliban, prefer their own people to run the country. So it's so many different angles. It's a lot to unpack here. So what were your kind of initial thoughts?
Well, you brought up something I think that was interesting about like just even the reactions and almost the defensiveness that we have. I think one of the things and one of the funnier memes that I've seen is how all of the different COVID experts became Afghanistan experts overnight. Um, Foreign policy is something that is kind of intimidating for me. I want to get it right. I want to learn, even though, and it's weird because we've been engaged in this conflict for over 20 years, or close to, I'm sorry, close to 20 years. It'll be 20 years as of September 11th. But it's one times, and I think this is overall with national security. I really wish that we could pull back from political prisms. Um, I think that knowing how screwed up Trump was, knowing how the priorities were screwed up even when George Bush took us in there, I definitely think that the Republicans have screwed up. But I don't necessarily want to ignore the mistakes and bad decisions that both Biden and Obama may have made. But when we're dealing in the world of governing, and this is foreign policy, but it intersects with politics. I wish that sometimes, and maybe with all issues, but especially with foreign policy, I wish we could almost just say, okay, pause politics and let's just have a hardcore, nuanced discussion of what we need to do, what we've done, what we did right, what we did wrong, what we should be going versus where we are going. And so I'm gonna, again, from a partisan standpoint, I can always spin it, and I can definitely justify what Democrats are doing. I do think that there is some kind of pile on Biden, and I do think that's real. But I also think that I don't want to get in that space to where Biden and Obama are above criticism. And I think I can land there if I learn more about it and learn more about it without not from cable news, probably more through reading, right? But definitely not through cable news and Twitter.